be recorded.
Okay, I'd like to call the Plan Commission meeting to order for Tuesday, October 5th. Roll call, please.
Mary Kudowski,
Here.
Jim Allen,
Present.
Jay Trigger,
Here.
Steve Kubacki,
Here.
Mike Skippington,
Here.
Corey Campbell,
Here.
Gary Paul.
How come I'm last?
Please stand for the pledge. And please remember all of our men and women throughout the world in uniform. Okay, I have no changes to the agenda. I need a motion to approve, please.
Approved. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 5A, action on the minutes from the Plan Commission regular meeting of September 7, 2021.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second to approve those minutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Comments from the public must be limited to items not on the agenda. Must state your name and address. You're limited to 5 minutes. The board's role is to listen and not discuss the items. Personnel items cannot be discussed nor individuals named. Board is not able to take action at this meeting. Is there anybody who would like to talk on something not on the agenda? Hearing none, we will move on. 7A, action items. Action on a signage exception request from Bayside Home Medical, 2476 South Oneida Street, Suite 120, parcel VA-142-3. Aaron.
Okay, the request from Bayside Home Medical is to have a wall sign in a multi-tenant building of 90 square feet. Under our code, wall signs in multi-tenant buildings are typically limited to 60 square feet per tenant. However, under our code, there is a provision that allows for exceptions up to an additional 50% of the square footage to be heard and approved by the Planning Commission, provided a series of 6 basically criteria are met as identified in the code. So as you can see in the staff report, the 6 criteria are there, and the applicant submitted the 6 criteria answers that he felt answered, or the answers how they could actually meet those criteria. What I can do is bring up on screen the proposal for the signage, and it's going to cause me an error message, I bet. So the signage that's there right now is for Complete Nutrition. That actually is 91.5 square feet. Okay. What Bayside Home Medical is requesting is 90 square feet, basically the same scale as what is currently there. As staff, we have no problem with this based upon the answers to the criteria and the consistency with the existing signage on the property. I'd be happy to answer any questions for you. The applicant is also in the audience if you have any questions for him.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments for anybody? I don't.
Knowing the property, knowing I've done some work there, the existing signage, I was surprised to see it was 91.5 square feet, so knowing what that looks like versus what they're looking for at 90 square feet, I guess I don't see a problem on that. I guess I'll have to swing with it. Knowing the frontage, that's pretty big, but it fits well, so. If there's no other questions, I'll move to approve as presented.
I would second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Does anybody have any more comments?
Looks nice.
Yeah. I think it looks really nice, so I don't have an issue with it either. So, that being said, all those in favor of approving this, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. So, thank you. 7B, action regarding rezoning 2040 South Ashland Avenue, parcels VA-56-6, VA-56-2, and VA-56-7 from SE Sports and Entertainment to B3 Community Business. Aaron?
Okay, the requested rezoning of the property, this is the former, commonly known as the Badger Ladder property, at the southwest corner of South Ashland, Frontage Road and Mike McCarthy Way, as you can see up on the map right here. The request is to rezone the 3 parcels for 2040 South Ashland Avenue from SE, Sports Entertainment, to B3 Community Business, to allow for the construction of a holiday gas station, convenience store, and accessory car wash. From a staff perspective, if this proposed rezoning was really anywhere but this location, it would be hard to support it. However, the location of the property, as you can see, it's surrounding sports entertainment to the north and to the west, Mike Van Park, public use to the southwest, but then also industrial properties, I-1 zone to the south, South Ashland Frontage Road, Ashland Avenue, and the CN rail line, as well as then this is actually Wisconsin Kenworth truck right here to the north. Staff believes it does serve as a transition from those industrial properties. It will serve to help generate traffic coming into Mike McCarthy Way, and hopefully help to, I guess, encourage people to continue to drive then further west on Mike McCarthy Way, further cementing that access way as a kind of a secondary entrance to the sports entertainment district, along with Lombardi Avenue to the north. The applicant is in the, agent of the applicant is in the audience. The applicant for Holiday Superstores is online as well. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
This came before site plan. I agree with Aaron on the rezoning. I do not support spot zoning, but this particular application here, I believe, fits well. Anything's better in that corner than what's there. It's got good visibility to Ashland Avenue. The only issue I had at site plan was the road coming off, or the driveway coming off of the frontage road on the south corner of the proposed property. I know that intersection quite well. It can be an issue. I hear complaints about it from the business owners on that road, which I have contact with. At the site plan, I did say we should keep this open in order to, if it becomes a problem, we should do something about it, meaning that could be a problem. I believe Mike McCarthy should be at least some signage and some footprint on the road to make aware for the pedestrians that want to cross to go west on McCarthy or make the turn to come onto Ashland Avenue, either north or south there, so that they don't plug up that intersection while the light is on red. So that's my only concern on the property itself.
And Gary, just to be clear, that'd be a site plan review issue that we can certainly address with the site plan review will be coming after this agenda item for the rezoning. So this is for the rezoning, the site plan.
Oh, just the rezoning.
This is just the
Okay,
rezoning right now.
I'm sorry, I got carried away. Thanks for stopping me. Okay, all right, if it's just for the rezoning, no problem. I agree with what you had said.
Aaron, is this in the TIF district by chance?
Yes, it is.
Okay. It's a good development at that location, as Gary indicated. It puts a little bit more of a shine on that than what it currently exists.
Certainly.
If anybody's interested, the village of Ledgeview is building one. Kitty corner from the old Swan, or the new Swan Club, I should say. It does look decent. I'm not really excited about the colors, but that's the company colors, but it is a nice piece of property. If there's no more questions, I'll move to approve the zoning change as presented on this issue here.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the rezoning for parcels VA-56-6, VA-56-2, and VA-56-7 from sports and entertainment to B3 community business. Any more comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 7C, action regarding requested site plan review for Holiday Station Stores LLC, 2040 South Ashland Avenue, parcels VA-56-6, VA-56-2, and VA-56-7. Aaron?
All right, had a little technical issue there, so I'll bring up the site plan again for the proposed holiday store and gas station on 2040 South Ashland. There we go. So here are the exterior elevations of the proposed convenience store itself. The exterior materials do meet our requirements. As you can see, the refuse enclosure, also masonry with fully screened fencing. It's pretty standard canopy for the gas station. And then the overall site plan, I'll get to that here in just a second. There we go. Zoom in a little bit just for reference. So for the overall site plan, what Gary had mentioned earlier is the driveway that enters onto the frontage road right here. He did mention the concern about the actual intersection right here, the frontage road and Mike McCarthy Way. That was discussed at Site Plan Review Committee as well. And we're talking about probably getting in some stop lines, something to somehow better demarcate and make sure that people don't jam up that intersection. I think it's a good approach and a good point to bring up. As you can see on the overall site plan, the proposed C-store and car wash are to take up the easternmost two parcels of land. This parcel of land right here to the west is to remain vacant. It will be grassed, landscaped, and maintained with the possibility of future development. So that's one of the conditions of approval, to make sure that that is properly maintained, grass is cut, so on and so forth. Continue with the really attractive look we're trying to get for the sports entertainment district. As you can see here, the pumps are right here, convenience store, some tables, patio, so on and so forth. In terms of recommended conditions of approval, there are a few of them. We'll run through them for the record. From zoning administration, building inspection, screen any rooftop or ground-mounted mechanical units visible from the property boundaries or public right-of-way. All paved driveways and parking lots are required to be curbed. Prepare and submit an asbestos report to the DNR and obtain a village demolition permit prior to demo of the existing building. No outdoor product sales except for propane. Obtain village board approval for a rezoning to a zoning district that permits convenience stores with gasoline sales. Regularly mow and maintain undeveloped grass area at west end of the property. And then, of course, the catch-all, meet all other applicable sections of 17-2-200 Ashwaubenon Municipal Code. From engineering, I know they have been in discussions with the applicant's engineering group on these already. There are two existing 6-inch sanitary laterals to the site. Review the need for a new existing 12-inch storm. Review the need for 15-inch. If 15 inch is needed, must be PVC, not HDPE in the roadway. Also, a need for an inspection manhole near the building if existing sanitary laterals are to be used. There's identified a 10-foot water easement on private property. We do not require that from a village standpoint. That is a private utility. include an oil water separator in stormwater manhole 7 and storm catch basin number 2. Stormwater management, provide a maintenance plan for on-site features, basically maintain sweeping, cleaning of grease, oil, things like that. And they'll be buying into the Ashland pond for stormwater quality. From public safety, a Knox box required near the main entrance to the building. Have the subcontractors contact public safety before the install of fire systems and coordinate the witnessing of acceptance testing. Have subcontractors submit state-approved plans to public safety for fire alarm, sprinkler, et cetera. From forestry, recommend to approve the plan as presented. And bike and ped, there are 2 bicycle racks already identified on the site plan to address their concerns. If you have any questions, as I mentioned, I'm happy to answer them. Just as previously with the rezoning, the applicant is on the line and the applicant's agent is here in the audience. If you have any questions for them.
Any questions?
When you say no outdoor product sales except propane, how about like ice, wood? You know,
No.
there's a lot of them that are doing that.
Right.
stuff.
No, that was something that was agreed to early in the discussions with the applicant. We explained our vision for this sports entertainment district as not to be cluttered, not to, have all of that, water softener salt, windshield washer fluid, the wood. Really trying to keep this a very clean, neat, and professional-looking area, and they certainly agreed to that.
Just looking at the rendition of the car wash coming from Mike McCarthy going south and then going out onto the access road. Any thoughts of switching that? Go, instead of going south, going north? Would it, is there any thought as to the traffic that goes to the car wash that comes out, takes a left and is trying to get back on? It's
I think one of the reasons.
sounded like you
One
had a lot of
of
traffic
the
issues
reasons,
down
you
there.
can see how the cars are stacked up there, they're not going to stack them the other way.
Okay.
In the wintertime, I can see that being an issue for stacking cars up is probably why they're doing that. I basically, what I like about the one in the De Pere area there, they got the car wash attached to the building, which is a lot cleaner look than having that building sit out there, but I think the landscaping will camouflage that building somewhat. We've talked about landscaping at the site plan, and they're saying they're pretty particular in their landscaping, and they better be, because that's a premier corner coming into the entertainment district there, so we're counting on them to do a nice job on that.
What's the, the extended plan for that parcel to the west? That's just going to be grass right now.
At this point, we did ask the question. There are no definitive plans for it at this time. It's going to be grass, landscaped, and maintained.
Help me on there, and I can't see how big of an area that is. Do you have any dimensions on there?
Oh, boy.
Maybe you can get it bigger on your computer than I can get it on my iPad.
I can look it up here if there are any other questions in the meantime.
This is Jim Gepner, the real estate manager for Holiday. It's approximately 1 acre in size.
Thanks, Jim.
So do you have any plans? I mean, what are your thoughts that you're just going to leave that as?
Yep, that's the plan at this point in time, is that we're just going to leave it as grass area. And, when we acquired the property, that was part of it and everything. But, we're just planning on leaving it grass at this point. 4 or 5 years from now, maybe there'll be, other thoughts as far as, who knows, adding, seating, picnic tables, additional picnic tables out there, or if additional parking is needing, they have the flexibility to do that. But at this point in time, we're just looking at keeping it a grass area, something that's going to be very attractive, and I think lend itself even more so to the corner and the entrance into the sports entertainment area.
Agreed. That's why I was just wondering if you had any thoughts about picnic tables, things like that, as a possibility. And if that was the case, and I was going to start asking before a Packer game, I can see people using that area. And then we'd be dealing also with cleanup and things like that. So that was the only reason I was questioning.
Sure. Yep. No, understand. Yeah, I think, it allows us to, see how the site behaves and develops and everything. And whatever we do, we want to make sure it stays attractive. And we're not looking to increase, the maintenance opportunities either. We want to just keep it attractive and something that's going to be pleasing to everybody that's in that area.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
One thing I'm noticing on here, which I didn't catch at site plan, there's a chain link fence around the green area there that you just spoke about. I hope you're not using that present fencing that's around there that's falling down.
No, we would not do that and everything. It's going to be all brand new around our site. And Glenn or Victor, if you have any additional thoughts on that, feel free to add those as well.
Yeah, no, I know the property quite well, and I know that fence is falling onto other people's property or within the property, so it's good to hear that you're putting a new one up because it is junk.
No, we don't want any remnants of what was there in the past. We want it to look towards the future and want people to associate it with holiday and not what was there previously.
All right, very good. I guess I spoke my piece on that entrance coming off on the access road, and Aaron answering my questions regarding the markings and the intersection there, so hopefully it'll work out okay. So if there's no other questions, I'd like to approve this as presented with staff conditions.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the requested site plan for Holiday Station Stores at 2040 South Ashland Avenue. Any more discussion, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
7D, action regarding a request to add commercial recreation indoor as a permitted use within the I-2 Heavy Industries Zoning District. Aaron, you're a popular guy tonight.
It's been a long day, but a good day. This request came as a result of a property owner who is looking to start a hockey training facility in a building that he currently has leased. There's a quirk in our code where it talks about commercial indoor recreation. In the text, it does mention in the text of the code, it does mention the I-2 zoning district. However, it's not reflected on the table of allowed uses as a permitted use for commercial indoor recreation. Commercial indoor recreation is a permitted use within the IP industrial park and the I-1 light industry zoning districts. The proposed amendment is just to add that same commercial indoor recreation as a permitted use consistent with the text in the code to the table of permitted uses.
Aaron, where is this specifically located, this specific request?
This is, if you can picture Baton Road off of South Broadway, the dead end,
Oh, sure.
up against the railroad tracks.
Yep. Lincoln? Yep. Yep.
Some time ago, they had a RC center within, was across the street though, up roughly around Glory Road and roughly in that area. And I didn't see any problem with that. It generates traffic, but without traffic, you don't have development. So I don't see a problem with this being an issue whatsoever.
Yeah, and I happen to know this particular individual that's trying to build this, and I think it's a great thing to do, being that close to the PRI Center, and that it kind of fits. So I think it's a real positive to have this be put into this building.
Good idea there, Jay. I didn't realize they're so close to the ice center there.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
Jay, you started it, finish
I
it.
will make a motion to add the commercial recreation indoor as permitted use within the I-2 heavy industries zoning district.
Second.
Here we have a motion and a second to add commercial recreation indoor as a permitted use within the I-2 heavy industry zoning district. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 7E, action regarding amending section 17-4-400, accessory uses, Village of Ashwaubenon Municipal Code relating to accessory buildings. Aaron?
Okay, this request came out of the Site Plan Review Committee. We had a number of requests for basically sheds, for lack of a better term, come through Site Plan Review Committee for locations within commercial and industrial areas. One of those sheds actually had to come through Plan Commission as well. That was one on Mike McCarthy Road, or Mike McCarthy Way for Zorn compressor. The issue they ran into at Site Plan Review Committee, and even Plan Commission and Village Board for that matter, was that there was really no criteria upon which to approve, deny, or otherwise take action on whether or not a accessory building in these zoning districts meets what we're looking for. I received direction from Site Plan Review Committee to put together some language based upon the criteria that was developed at that time for those particular accessory buildings, put it into a code format, and bring it forward to Site Plan Review Committee, Plan Commission, and Village Board for an amendment to the code. What you can see in the proposed amendment is that it does spell out accessory buildings based upon zoning classifications. So currently, the zoning code identifies accessory buildings in the R1 and R2 and RE zoning districts, but no other ones. The zoning districts, you can see here, it does break them down basically into commercial, industrial, and then public use zoning districts with similar but a little bit different standards for each one of them. So for instance, for the commercial accessory buildings, the square footage is 144 square feet maximum. For the industrial accessory buildings, it is 240 square feet. These accessory buildings, as identified in the code, can only be used for cold storage of things. You can picture snow blowers, lawnmowers, shovels, equipment necessary to maintain the building. Again, strictly cold storage. Anything larger than this can still be permitted. It would just be permitted as an actual building on the site. And it would therefore have to meet the actual standards for the site plan review ordinance. So this is just meant to try to address that, I guess, little hole in the ordinance that we had for these types of buildings. That just didn't make sense to apply our standard site plan review criteria to them.
Okay. This was just before site plan?
Yes.
We had it a little earlier today, and it passed. There was a question about the ones being grandfathered in, and Aaron said that it grandfathers some of the structures that are already out there in, but there was a concern with people just going to, say, a Home Depot or a Menards and buying a building and putting it on the land, and it just, no firm foundation, no nothing. So did a great job in rewriting this, so.
I couldn't say it any better, Mary. This has come in front of the site plan. Actually, it came in front of us this year several times, and they're just buying a building from Joe Blow down the street, dumping it on the property, and that's all they were doing to it. So the site plan, through some conversations, decided we need something, some language done in these parts of our community to make it look more of a, make them think about it rather than just dump a building on there. So one of the concerns I had was just setting it on a property and rodents digging underneath it. And I know we got rodents throughout the village, but we don't have to invite them in either. So with what Aaron put together here, I think fits our needs quite well for taking care of this little issue that we had to make sure it's done properly. And they do have some regulations to go by to make it a little more attractive.
So all of these accessory buildings would come to site plan review for approval, is that correct?
So in this case, no, these would be permitted, provided they meet the criteria, just like any other accessory building. Anything larger than what's permitted would have to come through site plan review committee.
Okay.
And as you noticed, Aaron used the word, not a shed. We created a word to make it sound like a building that is something rather than a shed. So the verbiage in here fits the terminology real well for what we're going for. An accessory building, not a shed.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
No, but I'll make a motion to approve the verbiage for accessory buildings in our districts per the conversation of Aaron telling us what it's for. I can't find quite, here we go. Section 17-4-400, accessory building, municipal building code related to accessory buildings.
Which,
With staff, there's no staff conditions.
No, there's no staff conditions.
and you're
Do you-
forwarding this to
I
the
need a
village
second.
board.
To the village board, correct.
Yep, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Now we can discuss it if you'd like, if there's any more questions. It does, this is approving it to be forwarded to the village board. Okay,
Yes.
any more discussion, questions? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second to recommend approval of the amendment to section 17-4-400. Any more questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Thank
Number 8, thank you. Items for next agenda. Do we have anything yet, Aaron?
Not yet. So
Got a couple
they have time for
weeks.
plan commission
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn, please.
A motion that we adjourn. Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you.